Hey, hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to our Cash to Keys Mastermind. I'm going to let everybody get in. I see attendees rolling in slowly here. This is wonderful. Happy Wednesday. As you are coming into the webinar, I would love to know who you are, where you're from, what state you're from. Would be very cool if we had all 50 states represented, would be great. So pop in the chat. I got to open my chat here so we can see that. Am I able to see that? Yes, I am. Okay. So pop in the chat. Okay, Virginia Beach. Hey there. So glad you're here. Oh, I love Virginia Beach. I could use some summer sun right now, right in the cold. So pop in where you're from. Also pop in. We'd love to know if you have ever used Cash to Keys. If this is a brand new experience for you. If you have no idea why you're here, but your friend said you better get on this mastermind. Pop that in too. We want to know, who's on the line and who's listening. Um, would also love to know. So don't be shy. Pop in that chat. We'd love to know. And this is something that you Google and you find different answers all the time. Would love to know how many hours you would say it takes you to put together one offer. So that's from sending your client the listing, scheduling the listing, walking through the home, following up with your client, preparing the offer, submitting the offer, all the things. I want to know about how long you think it takes from start to finish, how many hours that would be. And Annamarie, do you have a number for that? I'm curious.
Ooh, gosh, it really depends too on like, is this the first offer that they've written? Because
Mhm.
obviously that involves a little bit more legwork
Sure.
to go through that process. I would say 5 or 6 is pretty, if there's negotiations and sending that over, talking to the lender, going over numbers is pretty reasonable.
5 to 6 hours. Okay, I'm not seeing. I don't know if everybody's putting anything into the chat here. Maybe I need to refresh. Let's see. Entire audience. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. So, and that could, like you said, that could vary a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, oh, they're under questions. Thank you.
three
I
or
would
four,
also,
three if we're looking at somebody that's just like, we've done this, let's go.
nice. Okay. So, and I'm seeing 3 to 4. Yep. I guess it really varies, right? Um, and the reason I'm asking, okay, well, let's add another layer to this before I get into why I'm asking. Another layer. So how many offers have you made before getting a client under contract? Like, what is the highest number? Put that in the chat too. So we're looking for about how many hours it takes you to put together an offer. And then I want to know, what's the most amount of offers that you've had to make for one client before getting them under contract?
Mhm.
7, and yes, cash. Okay, great. Marie's used cash to keys before. Seeing 3 offers. I We were at a mastermind in New Jersey earlier in the year. Somebody raised their hand and said 22. They made 22 offers for one client. I was like, oh dear Lord, that's tough. So then you can figure out, okay, if you've made 20 offers, and actually, Annamarie, what's the most number that you've ever made? I don't know if you keep track
Say,
or you lose track.
yeah, no, I mean, if you ask me how many showings, that's an entirely different
That's
question.
different, right?
Offers, I would say in 2020, 2021, 12, I think was kind of our highest.
Okay,
Um, and that was obviously before the Cash to Keys
right,
program for lives. So
right. I'm seeing 3 offers max. Way to go, Kim Maxwell. 3 offers max is the most you've ever made. But let's take that 12, right, Anna Marie? So 12 times an average. We'll even bump that down a little bit, maybe 5 hours per offer, right? So 12 times 5 is 60 hours, right, for one client. And the beautiful thing about Cash to Keys is that we're seeing clients under contract in under one offer. So it's like 1.2. So 1 to 2 offers, they're under contract, which is amazing. So, everybody, we are thrilled to have you in here. In the chat, we have the mastermind behind Cash to Keys. We've got Wes Costello and Colleen Craig, one of our home purchase coordinators and managers. So they're going to be managing the chat. If you have any questions at any time, please put it in the chat. We'd love to hear, your feedback. We want to know what you think, what questions you have. My name's Rachel Tresh. I'm with Annie Mac and Business Development and thrilled to host today. And guys, don't forget at the end of this mastermind, we are giving away a $200 Amazon gift card. So you must be present to win. So if you have friends that are supposed to be on here today and they are not, you need to send them a text right now and say, get your butt on here because we're talking about some great, great content, giving you great ideas. And we're just happy during the holiday season that you're here with us. So, without further ado, Annamarie, welcome to our mastermind. I'm so thrilled to highlight your skill set and everything that you've done with Cash to Keys. So, thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Annamarie McDonald comes from, you can see the lovely logo in the background, from Coldwell Banker and works closely with our Eden Prairie branch in Minnesota. I'll try to leave my Bobby's
It'll
World
come out
accent.
later. You'll see it. It'll.
I love it. It's great. And hey, in 2017, she was named top rookie salesperson of the year and top seller of the year. Way to go. 2017 was a great year for you. I love that.
That was
Ranks
my
within the
first
top
year.
7%. What was that? Sorry.
My first year in real estate. So that
Way to
was fun.
go. Way to knock it out of the park. I love that. Um, Ranks within the top 7% of Coldwell Banker agents worldwide. Bravo, my friend. Recently featured as multi-year super agent in Minneapolis St. Paul magazine. And she is, like I said, working very closely with our Eden Prairie branch and has really, really just, you dove right into Cash to Keys and everything that we offer. So, before I get into all of my questions for you, because I have a lot here, I just want to give everybody a quick overview of what the heck Cash to Keys is. Maybe you have used it before, maybe you have not, but basically, it's our way to remove the finance contingency and the mortgage contingency. So, it was developed by Annie Mac Private Equity, and it's a platform that allows buyers to go to market and operate as non-contingent cash buyers. Let that sink in for a second. I don't know anybody else who's doing that. Operate as non-contingent cash buyers. So within Cash to Keys, there are two sides of the equation. There is the cash offer side and the buy now, sell later side. So cash offer is designed to allow borrowers to go to market and make that cash offer with no finance contingency. So this is great for first-time home buyers or maybe people who have not owned a home in a long time, who have been renting, someone who is not home sale contingent. Okay, so start thinking of those people that would fall under those categories, those clients. The second side of Cash to Keys is the buy now, sell later aspect. And this is specifically designed for those buyers who are home sale contingent, who is honestly just about everybody, I would say. Many, many people fall into this category. And these are the people that say, hey, I'd love to buy a new home, but I got to sell my old home first. Um, and what it does is it gets rid of home sale contingencies. It unlocks fear because how many of your clients say, I'd love to sell my home, but if I list it, it would sell immediately and then I have nowhere to go. I'm not moving back in with mom and dad and the dog and the kids and everybody. So it unlocks fear and unlocks the market. And Annamarie is really our expert in all of this. So talk to me, girl.
Yeah, so primarily we are using that buy now, sell later program. And just like you said, it really is for those people that have to have that home contingency or even not even necessarily have to, but they want to for the security of that home sale contingency. There are so many people in the market right now that are like, well, if we don't make X dollar on our house, on our sale, what does that look like for what we're purchasing? A lot of that goes into, the strategy of using this program and being able to put their best foot forward when they're making that offer.
Yeah, I mean, you really only get one chance. We were
Yeah.
talking the other day, and maybe true Hamilton fans out there would understand this, that you only get one shot.
Yes.
One shot.
Yes. It's
So,
one shot. It previously was, you only get one shot in making an offer and maybe in a multiple offer situation. But now as that market has shifted and we are seeing some of those multiple offer situations happen less, that still doesn't mean that there isn't a one shot in other aspects. So, that house that you're looking for, and not even necessarily a unicorn house, but a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, in our market, we'll say under 450. Those are coming up so much less often that you're writing on a home, and then, if you don't get that, waiting, 2-3 weeks potentially for something that even fits the criteria that you're in to come back on the market. So it is that one shot, Hamilton-esque moment.
Right. And when that dream home hits the market, it really hurts when they lose out on that offer. They don't want to have to make another. They want the home that they want. So to be able to set them up for success from the beginning, that has to feel great. Because yes, I mean the title of our mastermind today was to be your client's hero. I mean, that has to feel great.
Yeah, it's, being able to go into an appointment, whether that be with a listing or a buyer, or, what we're seeing right now in our market is a lot of those people that are locked in these lower mortgage rates. And so they're like, well, maybe our house doesn't work for us because we've expanded our family since then, or we have a job relocation. We don't want to lose that rate until we find something that's going to work for us in the future. And so going into these appointments and offering this as a strategy is, really for a lot of people, they have that like, well, what do you mean? What's the catch moment? And I didn't even think that this was an option for us
Mm.
to go in and make a non-contingent offer, and not only a non-contingent offer, but a cash offer that is really a guarantee for all parties involved.
Yeah, and it's funny, we know that we hear cash offer. What is it? 90% of the time, if a seller is presented with a cash offer, they're taking a cash offer.
Mhm.
So we want to show up at the top of that list. I want to go back on something that you touched on with strategy. I know you're big on social media, and you've been really trying to create a great marketing plan, which I think is wonderful. And I love that you're very big on timelines and strategies, and putting that out there for your clients to almost vision cast a little bit, because sometimes we think, oh well, clients don't know what they don't know. So how do you work with them on, creating that strategy and timeline, and even presenting this to begin with?
Um, I think one of the big questions that always, comes across every agent's table is like, is now a good time to buy? Is now a good time to sell? And I often approach it from, I don't know, you tell me, because I can tell you what the market is saying, but I can't tell you when is a good time for you, personally, emotionally, whatever it might be. And so starting the strategy for that move early, and setting you up with a game plan, even if that game plan is like, okay, well, if this happens, then we go with plan A. If this happens, then we go with plan B. But getting something in front of you, having those conversations from very early on, and even starting that, pre-approval process, or talking to a buy now, sell later lender here in Minnesota. We work with Scott Miller and Rachel Robley. So getting somebody contacted, or getting them in contact with them, and just exploring that option from the beginning, allows us to really strategize as far as when the best time is going to be for
Mm.
them, whether that's financially or otherwise.
Yeah, no, that's great, because I think if you're just holding their hand along the way, which we so often do, and we're wearing lots of different hats, right? Being the I don't know, maybe the therapist and the friend and the financial
Yeah.
advisor, and serving all these different roles, but to really be able to offer them a solution that they hadn't thought of. That's great. Now let's just back up a little bit, because it's been about a year since you started using Cash to Keys.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
We
what was
started,
it when
our
you?
first transaction was November, I believe,
Okay,
of 2022. Um,
great.
and that was after the rates had made a change.
Mm.
And so this was a program that, for our sellers who had lived in their home for 30 years, they were fine there, but ready to make a move.
Mhm.
Wanted to solidify something before for getting their home on the market, and kind of
Sure.
playing that, what's going to happen.
Sure. That's great, right? Because that's the perfect scenario where we don't have to move, but we'd like to move.
Mhm.
Um, Talk to me about how this was presented to you. did it take a while for you to really understand the nuts and bolts? And then how did you present it to that first client?
Yeah, so we were connected with Scott and Rachel through actually, like the best case scenario for any realtor, we were conducting an open house on one of our listings. A buyer came in, purchased that home with us, and then, connected us with their child, their daughter, who was working with Scott. So yeah, it's the best
That's
case
great.
scenario. You want those situations to happen. And we, did not use the buy now sell later program with that first time buyer, which, because it wasn't an option. I mean, realistically, had it been an option, we would have found their home significantly sooner than when we did. And of course, I
Sure.
do believe that everybody ends up where they're supposed to. But when Scott brought it to us initially, there's, I don't know where it is as far as other states, but we did have the Zillow offers, the guaranteed offer situation, and cash buyer. And so when we hear that initially, there are some negative connotations
Sure.
to it.
Hmm.
So there was skepticism, and then of course you go over the fees. But it really took going to the classes, or the class on the buy now sell later program, and having some of those statistics for how it was helping buyers and sellers in other markets already where it had been launched before, really turned my mindset around it, to be able to understand how this could benefit not only my business, but at a larger picture for my clients, and then also the market itself.
I'm sure. I mean, I know that how many people are just sitting on the sidelines, or how many times have you worked with somebody that they finally just say, "Oh, I just, this is too much. We're going to take our home off the market and just wait this thing out." I know that this program was developed for people in that very situation.
Yeah, and
Now,
there are certain sellers or certain buyers that this isn't going to be the right program for. But to just know that it is an option, to have that in their back pocket, I'm a huge advocate for having all of your options and having everything in front of you so that you can make an educated decision. And so if we can just put this in front of them and provide it as an option, that's going to, be more beneficial than anything.
so I'm sure once you make this first deal about a year ago and you use cash to keys, other people in your office were they kind of just peeking over their shoulder, kind of waiting to see what happened, and then did it just snowball from there? And what was that whole process like?
Yeah, I mean, it was at a point where we were still dealing with, the multiple offers, or the, not buyers writing a ton of offers and not getting them. And so when we started to get those offers accepted, we did have people approach us and say, what's your secret? How are you doing this? What are you strategizing? Are you waiving inspections? Are you, doing these appraisal gaps? And our answer, of course, was no. And being able to share this, again, to, it's like we talked about before, that abundance mindset, that mindset
Mhm.
of what can help me, can help my clients, can help, another agent, and
Sure.
the market as a whole. So sharing a lot of that. And, initially I was like, well, we kind of got this one listing because we were up against somebody else and they didn't have this buy now sell later program to offer them. And that's why we got the listing. So, you want to kind of share it at first, but really switching my mindset and being able to help other agents has been really rewarding.
I'm sure. I mean, and like you said, the more people are using this, it really is unlocking the market in a very unique way. And especially a time like now where we hear, oh, the holiday market is typically seen as the worst time of the year and it's so slow. This probably has not been your experience, has it?
No, it hasn't. We're putting together, even in a situation where you are maybe not competing in multiples, you still want to put your best foot forward. You still want to put the best offer out there because, a seller at this time, some might say that most sellers that have to sell during this time of year they have to sell, they have to be somewhere, they have to move. But that's not always the case. And so if I'm not putting my best foot forward with any offer, they might not respond. They might say, well, we're just going to wait a little bit. We could reduce the price. And so it all depends on, where your buyer's or your seller's motivation lies. But you still want to put something strong on the table because you have one shot.
Back to that Hamilton. I love it. I know. Yeah. I'm really curious, I can see this has just affected your business in such a positive way, but what is your typical process of marketing this? You mentioned going to open homes. Talk me through that a little bit, just on how you start talking to people about what the heck this is.
Yeah, so we usually do what we would call like a two-step process for a listing consultation. We have that initial phone call. We decide, where their goals lie. We talk to them, are you buying and selling, or are you selling and moving to the cabin? We bring it to our in-person consultation and just provide it and go over what that looks like. And as we're giving, here's couple different lenders, reach out to them, run your options, but here's this program. Let's talk about it, how it can be beneficial to you as a seller, as a buyer, and just go from there. We also bring it to open houses. So say we are listing a house and we're holding it open, and a buyer comes through and they say, gosh, I really love this house, but we have a home to sell. Everybody wants the least amount of contingencies. The buyer wants it and the sellers want it. So having it there in the open houses, and even if they are working with, an agent, they come to us with a contingent offer. We say, hey, great, we'd love to work with you guys. However, have you looked at this program? Can I tell you about this program? Because again, everybody wants that to get to the closing table. And when you are working with something that is cash and non-contingent, it's kind of a win-win for everybody.
So let's just role play a little bit just for fun. Why not? Right. So let's walk through that. And like we're at the open house. Okay, stay with me, everybody. You can put yourself in the situation because you've all been there a million times. So you're sitting there with a nice scented candle. People are walking through, and I'm a potential buyer, and I say exactly what you just said. Oh my gosh, I love this home, but I have a home to sell. How do you talk to me about it and tell me what it is?
Yeah.
Very simply.
My first question, of course, is, are you working with an agent? Because we have to be very
No, I'm not.
Yeah. That's great to hear. I want to share with you a little bit about this buy now, sell later program that we work with that allows you to find that dream home like this, get it under contract and solidify it, and kind of put your home on the back burner, eliminating the stress of having to list your home at the same time that you are in the process of buying one. There's multiple different ways that you can structure the process, either moving into the new home and making it your own and then getting your home on the market, or you can align those two closings for a really streamlined process.
Wow. Okay. So that sounds wonderful. So I don't have to have my home listed. I don't have to sell my home first in order to buy this new home.
You don't. You come in with a cash offer that's going to be attractive to the buyer, and also are able to structure your loan in a way that works for you. So yeah, so side note, I think that that's important to go over too, is
Yeah.
not only are you putting a cash offer forward, you're still structuring your offer in a way that works for you as that buyer.
So cool. I love it. Great job. Great job. We're amazing actresses over here. Yes, the Academy Award for Best Non-Contingent Offer goes too.
There we
Sorry,
go.
we digress. No, but that's really important to mention. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that you don't have to have the home listed for sale. The new buyer can move into that home, and then they have 180 days to sell their existing home. So that means they can stage it. They can take their time to move out. And I think, as you touched on, that really does remove the stress, because so many people are working from home. There's dogs, there's kids, you want everything to be perfect when you are
The
selling your
holiday.
home. And holiday, like that's it's almost impossible to do at the holidays. It's probably why this time of year is typically seen as a not very attractive time to sell, because of those reasons, right? So we're just taking that off the table.
Yeah, and ideally, when we're bringing this to our conversations, to our listing appointments, we're setting them in or putting them in a position where we can start the decluttering. We can start, staging their home, getting the pictures taken. So if they do want to be at a point where they want to align those two closings up, that we're able to pull the trigger quickly. We can get it on the market fast versus, starting from scratch in preparing their home for market.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, just to go back a little bit, how has this really affected your partnership with your loan officer and just affected your business overall?
Oh, I could gush. Just truthfully, I could gush about Scott and Rachel. They are just incredible people to partner with, not only because of their skill set as lenders, but just who they are and where their, our goals and our mindsets and our ethics align in just this business in general. They are wonderful at strategizing and finding, the little pieces of information in somebody's maybe credit report or, loan structure to help them really get the best loan process or loan, loan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they just do really, really well with that. They are kind and really have such great heart. And, alongside, just using the buy now, sell later or cash to keys program, we have just developed a even greater relationship, just in affecting and making the market in our area as best, as good as we can.
I love to hear that. And that's, it's funny, that's not uncommon amongst many Annie Mac loan officers that I hear that we really are taking the time to vision cast, to business plan, and the fact that their goals and they know yours. That's so important. It's not just okay, let's work with another real estate agent and have as many agents under our belt as possible. No, it's about what's important to you and how can I help you get there. And I hear that with many of our loan officers, and I think that's such a wonderful quality to have that we embody at Annie Mac. It's part of our culture. And
yeah, and I mean, I tell sellers, or I'm sorry, I tell buyers all the time that not only do you have to like the product that a lender or a realtor is proposing to you, you have to like them. You're going to work very intimately with them. And so you have to be excited that they're calling you, on Friday to talk about your loan, or you have to feel comfortable with them. So finding people that are just genuine, good people in this industry is just so important.
absolutely. Well, I think this is a perfect time to bring back Wes Costello and Colleen Craig, because I'm seeing a bunch of questions that are very specific questions that I'd love to bring them back, and Annamarie, have you chime in as well. Seen some good questions out there. Guys, what are you finding, either if there's a great question that popped up that you'd like to talk about, or even just some general questions that you hear often? Let's go, ladies first. Colleen, we'll start with you.
I think one of the biggest questions we hear with cash to keys is, if it is a cash offer, why is there a requirement for an appraisal? We give you strategies to overcome that with the listing agent. We've not had much resistance really at all, because we do offer some options to overcome that challenge with the listing side.
That's great. That's great. Any experience on that, Annamarie?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for us was to learn that, just because there is an appraisal doesn't mean that that you can't, write an appraisal gap. You can't write an appraisal guarantee. You're still structuring, again, that offer how your buyers want to structure it. So just because it's a cash offer and my buyers aren't signing it, Colleen is signing it, doesn't mean that I'm not having that conversation with them on how they want to put their best foot forward with that offer or on
That's
the
great.
back end.
Okay. Wes, we'll pop it over to you. Either something that you saw in the chat or just something you hear a lot from people, questions you get.
Yeah, I think the answer to who's going to get the Academy Award for Best Role Play, definitely Annamarie and Rachel. That was great and very realistic, really was.
I'm going to add that to my resume now. Don't tell anyone.
Thank you.
Annamarie, there is a question in the chat for you. And the question is, how does cash to keys work with higher interest rates? So the question from Catherine is, Annamarie, please address the cash offer with higher interest rates.
Yeah, I mean, again, you are writing that offer in a way, whether it be, okay, well, we're going to offer less because my buyers have to, want to pay a lower monthly payment, or, I mean, just because it's cash, and I know that it is harder to wrap your mind around it as a seller, but just because it's a cash offer doesn't mean you can't ask for closing costs. And so those closing costs, can transfer to the buyers in their loan to be able to buy down a rate, whatever it might be. You still have those options.
Yeah, that's a great point. And a few of the questions that we're getting are along the lines of, how and when do we get our client pre-approved for cash offer and buy now, sell later? I have some thoughts on that, but do you want to share that as well, Annamarie?
Yeah, I say right away. I mean, I go and give them Scott's information, and I say, talk to Scott about buy now, sell later, or talk to Scott about cash to keys. Again, whether that's the route that you take, I mean, obviously we don't send people just to Scott for this program. And so therefore, it's an option, just to have it as, okay, well, if we need to use this. And, we did have a buyer who wasn't using this program initially, and it got to a point where they were like, we really have to find something, and we're writing very strong offers, but we're coming in second. And so just having them have that conversation right away and get that pre-approval process started so that we're able to write those, in a pinch, I think sets you up for success from the get-go.
Yeah. Hey, Annamarie, do you have any clients, or have you had clients in your sphere that say, yeah, I want to sell and buy, but I'm waiting for my dream house, or till the perfect house comes on the market? And how would this apply for them?
Well, again, if you're looking for a unicorn, those are going to come up even less than, say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath under 450. So, if you're looking for a house with a pool, if you're looking, which in Minnesota, not as common, wherever everybody else is. If you're looking for acreage, we've got buyers right now that are looking for acreage, and I don't know if everywhere else is like this, but we're running out of it. And so if that does come up, again, you have one shot on that to make an offer and really stand out before you're waiting for that other unicorn to come up. So starting the process, getting that pre-approval so that you're able to start looking for those things and set yourself up to really pull the trigger when that time comes, that's what you want to do.
So that unicorn comes up and they're contingent on a mortgage and they're contingent on selling a house, they're going to be up against other offers. Mm-hmm. Are they going to get it?
Probably not. Yes, of course, there are instances, and because multiple offers maybe are a little bit, they're the exception to the rule now in certain areas, but it is really depending on the area that you're looking in and the home that you're looking for. And most likely, if you are looking for a very specific property, there is somebody out there that's also looking for that. And so that's where you're going to see those multiple offers and need to put your best foot forward.
And I'll answer one more. I'll combine two of the questions from the chat here. What if the house doesn't sell, and how can this benefit the seller side? Some of the questions that we get that are similar is, how real is cash offer? How real is buy now, sell later? And what happens if the buyer can't purchase the property is also the same way that the seller benefits from cash to keys. We had this was stuck in my mind. It was actually a transaction from about a year ago, late in 2022. The buyer was moving from Chicago to New York and was purchasing a property for $990,000. They had something happen about 8 days prior to closing. And so what would have happened in a traditional mortgage contingent environment, we know is, they would have broke the contract with a mortgage contingency, and the seller of that property would have been put out. They would have given the earnest money deposit back. And in this particular case, as in many cases, the seller of that property was purchasing another property, and we followed this chain. The seller of that property was buying another property, probably went through further, but we along the chain, but we know that there was 6 buy and sell side transactions that would have fallen apart. But the buyer from Chicago was using cash offer. And so we found that 8 days prior to close, Annie Mac Private Equity Cash to Keys purchased that property, preserved all 6 of those buy and sell side transactions for realtors. And then the house was nice. I had a pool. Colleen and I were thinking about maybe having like team meetings there, but we thought it better just to resell the property right away. And so we had a realtor from the transaction that resold the property. So instead of 6 transactions going away, those 6 transactions happened. And then there was a 7th because Cash Keys needed to sell that property.
Yeah.
So some of the ways that everybody can benefit from cash offer and buy now, sell later.
Right. I mean, layoffs happen, and it's something that we most of the time we don't have control over in the process. It can happen in any market. And so, coming to, that phone call that happens, hey, I'm sending over an offer, here's an outline. I outline it in the email. I attach the PDF of the FAQ for the program. I'm CCing Scott on there. So the more information that you can provide the listing agent to say, this truthfully this will happen. And whether my buyers buy that, that's the goal. But no matter what, you have a closing. And I think that is a huge deal for those sellers. After that appraisal's done, you're done. So if the buyer gets laid off, they can't fulfill their part of the, we call it part 2 or part B. They can't fulfill that. The sellers are done and gone. That's not their problem. And we can, restructure it if we can and figure out how to get them into that home, because that's the goal. But no matter what, I think it's kind of been a win for the agents is that doesn't happen. Annie Mac wants to get this house back on the market, and you as an agent are their first option.
Yeah, and just to add to that too, as lenders, we believe that we should have some skin in the game, just like you're saying, Annamarie, and just like you're saying, Wes. This is our way to assume the risk, not just give over a piece of paper that says, yeah, we believe in this buyer. No, we are going to assume all the risk for the seller, which I think is our way of having skin in the game and saying no matter what, we are going to get this deal done, which is awesome. I know there's a lot of other questions in the chat. One other thing that it's simple, and I'd love to hit on this. Why don't we throw it to Colleen? Colleen, we haven't heard from you in a minute. What if the home doesn't sell? What if the home they're leaving, they buy a new home, use buy now, sell later, cash offer, and their existing home does not sell? I hear that question a lot.
Yeah, at the time that they're approved for the buy now, sell later program, there is an arrangement that they have 6 months from the date that Cash to Keys purchases their new home on their behalf to sell their existing home. And if they don't, Cash to Keys will purchase that existing home from them for a prearranged price. That's all disclosed upfront before they sign any of our service documents. And then in Cash to Keys purchasing that home, if it doesn't sell, puts them into the position to buy that new home from Cash to Keys. Again, getting to that ultimate goal of getting the borrower into their new home. I can tell you we haven't done that yet. We have not had to buy a borrower's departing home. We've had over 650 Cash to Keys closings between cash offer and buy now, sell later. We have never bought a borrower's departing home.
That's great, because we're doing our homework. We know what we're doing ahead of time, and that's a long time. 6 months is a long time to sell a home. So it's almost like they have an existing offer on the table with Annie Mac saying, hey, in worst case scenario, we'll buy the home. So they're not going to take just a really low ball offer, which is pretty cool.
Right, and that offer that Annie Mac would purchase from is also backed by data. They're actually sending out and doing a BPO. So the same thing that we would do for like an appraisal or anything. So it's not just a number that they're like, we're making this up or we're using, the Zestimate on it or something. So yeah, I think that's, but again, never a risk on my side from ours.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you everybody for really giving us your stories and insight. I know if this is the first time you're hearing about Cash to Keys, you may want some more information. So luckily for you, tomorrow we have a VIP live certification course that's going to go deeper. Today was really about the why. Why do you need this in your business? Why should you use this? Tomorrow is about the how. It's the nuts and bolts, and Colleen and Wes are both going to be on that live. Goes deeper, gives you the tangibles and how to get this to your market, and you also get a certification for that course. So I encourage everybody to sign up for that. You will have a link in your email as soon as you leave here. Also, get with the person who invited you. And if you don't have an Annie Mac loan officer that you're working with, we will get somebody to reach out to you. And, you know, we really want to help you. This is, like Annamarie said, this is a partnership. This isn't just, oh, okay, you're another number of a realtor in my sphere of influence. You know, how many realtors can I have in my, you know, it's not a contest. It's about true partnership and relationship. And we want a business plan with you. 2024 is knocking at the door. So let us really help you to take that next step in whatever your goals are. Our goals are not, we're not going to push our goals on you. We want to know, what do you want? Let's get you there. So one more thing before we do our raffle, you know, I just encourage you guys, as we're looking at 2024, to encourage you to think about the clients who gave up, or maybe who were frustrated by rates, or made more than 3 offers and couldn't win, so they backed out, or, you know, the clients who took their home off the market. Really think about those people, because we really believe that right now could be the best financial decision they could make to buy or sell a new home. And we want to set you up for success. So we're here to help make that happen, here to help you make that happen. And we're so nice. We're going to let you be the hero of the story. We want to partner with you and make 2024 just the best we can. So without further ado, let's see, Tom Fortune, our lovely producer in the wings, just sent me our winner is Angie, I don't know how to pronounce your name, NGY Nguyen, NGY, I cannot see this, NGUYEN, Angie. Is Angie still here? Angie must be present to win. Put in the chat if you are Angie. Oh no. Oh, Angie's gonna be mad if she left early. Could have been the winner of the $200 gift card. Okay, okay, last call. Bueller, Angie Nugent, are you here? Okay.
Don't see it, Angie signed in.
I don't see Angie. Okay, hold on, people, don't go anywhere. All right, Tom, send me the next one.
We frozen?
I think Rachel's frozen. I'm coming back from the producer's quarters up here. Our next winner is Kim Maxwell. Kim, are you there?
Kim is here.
Kim is here. We have a winner.
Congratulations.
Kim, thanks for hanging in. We will shoot you an email with the link to that gift card. Appreciate you being here. Hope you enjoy that. And Wes, you want to get us closed out since Rachel froze up?
Certainly. You know, I want to thank Rachel for doing an incredible job in talking about Cash Keys. And I want to thank Annamarie for being such an incredible partner for a year now, participating with Cash Keys and delivering something to her clients that's helping them, you know, win their offers and do really great things in the market. Probably getting some referrals from that too. because of how you're empowering them to make really strong offers and remove their contingencies. And for everyone coming out to this to learn more, really, and I think everybody that's on this call is doing it with their clients in mind. If there's something out there that can help their clients, I see realtors want to do that. And by everyone's presence here and participation here, can see that you're looking out for your client's best interest. So thank you. And for anyone who is new to Cash Keys or wants to talk more about Cash Keys, wants to learn more about Cash Keys, please join Colleen and I tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern as we go more in depth and make you a Cash to Keys certified realtor.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, we'll see everybody next time.
Bye.
Thank you.